Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Thanks to Beth Heath and all of her wonderful helpers who put this tribute together tonight once again. And to all the participants who put on such a marvelous tribute that we saw earlier tonight in the ceremonies, the flag ceremony, and the music. Moving tribute, and a fitting one for this occasion this evening. It's been 5 years, 5 whole years, since the jihadist attack on our mission in Benghazi, the night of 11/12 September 2012. And yet, against all hopes, the pro-Muslim Brotherhood policies of the Obama administration, the Clinton State Department, have not been reversed. Because, let's remember, it was that administration's plan, as laid out in PSD 11, that stands for Presidential Study Directive 11, a classified document that remains classified to this day, but about which a number of leaks and speculation have leaked out over the years. But that policy was laid out in PSD 11, and it would be that the United States government would aid and abet the jihadist Muslim Brotherhood to take over the regimes, to oust and take over the regimes in Egypt, Libya, and Tunisia. They tried for Syria, but they had more powerful backers, and so Bashar al-Assad, the butcher of Damascus, remains in power to this day. But across North Africa, the plan was to oust and take over the regimes of Ben Ali in Tunisia, Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, and Hosni Mubarak in Egypt. And that is what enabled, really enabled, backed, supported, and enabled the Islamic uprising that began in late 2010 into 2011, allowed that to happen in the first place. It was Obama's speech, if you'll recall, about a new beginning with the Islamic world that he delivered in Cairo, Egypt in June 2009 to Muslim brothers sitting in the front row of the audience by his, President Obama's special request, at a time when the Muslim Brotherhood was banned in Egypt, and therefore the president of Egypt at the time, Hosni Mubarak, our longtime, decades-long ally, could not be present at that event. The writing was on the wall for him. But that speech, the speech that President Obama gave, really green-lighted the al-Qaeda Muslim Brotherhood uprising that would break out at the end of 2010. And the Obama administration's intent all along was that these rulers that I just named, Ben Ali in Tunisia, and Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, and Hosni Mubarak in Egypt, they were all corrupt, brutal rulers, but they were enforcers of stability. And as you heard Ken mention, absolutely so, they were our allies in what was then called the global war on terrorism. But they all had to go. Under PSD 11 and the Obama administration's policies, they had to go. And the Muslim Brotherhood, popular among masses of the populations in all those three places, should be allowed to take their place. It was the will of the people, you know. Democracy, they called it. Never mind that the motto of the Muslim Brotherhood then as now remains, Allah is our objective, Muhammad is our prophet, the Quran is our guide, Sharia is our law, jihad is our way, and dying in the way of Allah is our ultimate highest aspiration. Or that the Muslim Brotherhood's own 1993 document, the explanatory memorandum, declared that the mission of the Brotherhood in America, quote, was a kind of civilizational jihad, a kind of grand jihad to eliminate and destroy the Western civilization from within and sabotage its miserable house by their hands, our hands that is, and the hands of the believers, so that Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions. Yes, the George W. Bush administration, the Barack Hussein Obama administration, and the Donald J. Trump administration all have had this document in their hands because the FBI seized it in a 2004 raid on a townhouse in Annandale, Virginia. They all know what it says. They all have it in their possession. But how in the world did this become the embraced motto of the Obama administration during which the attack in Benghazi happened? And why has nothing changed even now, almost 3 full years into the Trump administration? Well, because the Muslim Brotherhood is really good at this stuff. It's expert at infiltrating and co-opting target governments and societies. And part of that is convincing those who are targeted by its seductive but lethal information operations that it is in fact benign. You know, not like those extremists like Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State who blow things up and chop off heads. They don't do that. They wear nice suits. They trim their beards. They wear Gucci loafers. And so, unfortunately, now well into 2019, here's what we have. A U.S. ambassador, Ambassador Sam Brownback, openly embracing, and I mean that literally, embracing, on stage in front of cameras, Abdullah bin Baya. So one of the most senior Muslim brothers on the face of the earth. Just about a month ago, a little more than a month ago, Ambassador Brownback appeared on the speaker's agenda of none other than the Islamic Society of North America, ISNA, at its annual conference in Houston, Texas. Now, ISNA is one of the key Muslim Brotherhood front groups in the country. Yes, they do operate here quite widely. And ISNA has been named an unindicted co-conspirator by the Justice Department in the 2008 Holy Land Foundation Hamas terror funding trial. Few months before that, May 2019, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, then Acting Secretary Kevin McAleenan, tasked the Homeland Security Advisory Council to establish a subcommittee for the prevention of targeted violence against faith-based communities, and it sounds great, doesn't it? Former DHS secretaries, Michael Chertoff and Jay Johnson, were both named task force co-chairmen. We'll recall, I'm sure, that Secretary Johnson was a frequent speaker at Muslim Brotherhood front groups and their events throughout his tenure. Among the founding membership of this DHS subcommittee, this task force, named, invited by DHS, Salam al-Mariyati, the founder and the president of MPAC, Muslim Public Affairs Council, another one of the largest, most influential Muslim Brotherhood front groups in America, on the DHS Subcommittee Task Force by invitation. The United States Council of Muslim Organizations is a kind of an umbrella group, a Muslim Brotherhood political umbrella group founded in 2014. It's a group of groups that include many, it's more than 36 now, of the top Muslim Brotherhood groups in America. Well, senior U.S. CMO officials, including the top Hamas official in the United States, that would be CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, Executive Director Nihad Awad, and the U.S. CMO Secretary General, Osama Jamal, are repeatedly invited to the Department of State. They've been there, or those affiliated with them have been there, August 2017, September 2017. In July 2018, the Department of State held its first Institute for Religious Freedom ministerial. They were there too. Then this year again, July 2019, the Department of State again held another Institute for Religious Freedom ministerial, and the Brotherhood was there again. Osama Jamal was invited. He was in the audience. He was there. 25 September, that's just about a month ago, 2019, U.S. CMO Secretary General Osama Jamal was invited by Vice President Mike Pence to a symposium for the DHS task force that I mentioned before, this one on the prevention of targeted violence against faith-based communities. 25 September, there was a symposium at the White House led by Vice President Mike Pence. And whom did he invite to join him there? The top Muslim brother in America, U.S. CMO Secretary General Osama Jamal. Now, with this kind of penetration, the next Benghazi is only a matter of time. Does anyone, for example, realize that the Turkish regime of Recep Tayyip Erdogan is a Muslim Brotherhood regime under the AKP, that stands for Justice and Development Party, the party that President Erdogan himself actually helped to found, and under whose aegis? Under the aegis of the AKP, the U.S. CMO, this political umbrella group of the Muslim Brotherhood, was founded and operates to this day. No, Erdogan is a NATO ally no more. Does anyone realize that President Erdogan and the AK party operate in open collaboration with the U.S. Muslim Brotherhood out of the facility in Lanham, Maryland? It's about a dozen miles north of Washington, D.C., a facility called the Diyanet Center of America. It is a Turkish government-owned facility, and it's the hub of operations for civilizational jihad in this country between the U.S. Muslim Brotherhood and the Turkish government. Does anyone realize that the U.S. CMO collaborates very closely with elements of anarchist, communist, Marxist thugs in the United States, including Antifa and the Black Lives Matter movement? They do. If we are ever going to prevent the next Benghazi, perhaps even on American streets, if the heroes of 2012 in Benghazi, Libya, are ever to be honored as they deserve to be, the U.S. government must root out and eliminate the Muslim Brotherhood networks of influence that already are deeply embedded inside the wire. We must urge President Trump and his administration to recognize the deadly influence of the red-green axis, as we call it, and take the necessary steps to reverse the policies that brought us the original Benghazi nightmare in the first place. Thank you.